Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. A special warm welcome if you're brand new here. I am KiwiSimsKate, Kiwi because I'm from New Zealand, Sims because I love The Sims, and Kate because that's my name. It's as simple as that. Today's speed build that I'm bringing to you is actually my very first ever shell challenge that I put out in May this year of 2022, and it was to mark a couple of occasions. So June's my birthday month, so it was sort of a birthday celebration, but also, and kind of more importantly, it was to mark a year of streaming on Twitch, which you can find me a couple of times a week. I stream there on twitch.tv/KiwiSimsKate. So if you follow me there, you'll get notified when I go live. But my schedule's pretty standard. It doesn't really change that often, only in kind of very certain circumstances. So I'd love to have you join me. I've been streaming there for a year now and it has flown by. I've also now been making my speed builds on YouTube for more than a year, and my 1 year anniversary on YouTube just completely went just straight past me. I didn't even realize it had happened. So a year has flown by. I'm still loving all of it, loving the content creation, still want to make loads more, and hopefully one day take it full-time content creation would be the goal, but I think that's probably a little way off yet. So I wanted to release my first shell challenge. I'd always been a little nervous to do a shell challenge because I didn't know if people were going to enter. But lo and behold, I was very pleased to receive loads of entries. It is in the gallery under the hashtag KiwiSimsKate shell. And obviously you can't enter any more because it was due earlier this month, but feel free to do it just, for fun if you like. It's a 100 tile build, but I do allow like floor piecing above, so you don't actually, it's not really a tiny house challenge because you can go over the 100 tiles only if it's to be able to add like the freezers and details to do with the roofing. So you can't expand the building. But if you want to just do that challenge of your own accord, just for fun, you'll find it in the gallery there or under my EA ID, which is KiwiSimsKate. And I toured everybody's builds that had uploaded them to the gallery live on our Twitch channel. It took us a couple of streams to get through them all because there were so many. I was just so chuffed to see all the builds. And all the variety as well. It was amazing just how different everybody's builds were. And the things that people came up with were inspiring and unique and surprising. So once I'd done all those tours, it really inspired me to do the same and to create something using my shell because I hadn't prior to that. And I got a lot of inspiration from the builds in the gallery. So things like having the windows in this dining area wrap all the way around. What else was I inspired by? Having the front, when I created the shell challenge, I sort of envisioned the porch section to be the front of the build, but I saw so many other people's builds where they'd flipped it around and that bit was at the back, and I really liked that. So when it came to building my own, I did that as well. There were just a lot of things that inspired me, and I thought, what better time to do my shell challenge than now when I've got all these cool ideas going around my head. And just a nod to my amazing community who participated in my shell challenge. I'm really grateful that you did. You can also go onto Instagram. A few people have shared them there under the hashtag KiwiSimsKate shell as well, if you want to check some of the different ones out. But in this build, I use loads of Dream Home Decorator Pack. I used quite a lot of, what else? I think mostly Dream Home Decorator Pack, a bit of Tiny Living. I wanted it to feel quite modern and kind of classy, not anything too cluttered. I kind of designed this house for maybe a single sim who's an interior designer. Maybe this is their first home that they kind of renovated. I decorated the exterior of the house in a kind of British estate style home that's maybe been recently redone, using the dark brick on the ground floor and the white siding upstairs. I love that combination. And I also used the red door that came with Get Famous, and I've been wanting to use that red door for quite some time, but I've never had the appropriate build to do so, and I thought it looked really cute here. And I also really liked using the mailbox that came with Snowy Escape in the matching red beside the door. Yeah, I was quite pleased with myself with that. The staircase in this build was a bit of a challenge. I ended up doing a sort of wrap staircase, sort of a U shape. I don't know what kind of, if staircases have names, the shapes of them, but it's sort of a U-shaped staircase. And I have play tested this build, so your sim can get around. I was a little concerned by placing the stairs so close to the kitchen counter and then the dining room being quite close to the kitchen island. I did fear that your sims wouldn't get kind of through the house, but I play tested it. It all works. The tiny bathroom downstairs works. I had to just merge the toilet back into the wall a little bit. So it has been created with move objects. So make sure you've got your cheat bb.moveobjects space on activated when you place this house. Otherwise you might find that some things are a bit out of place and your sim might not be able to use them. But if you place it with bb.moveobjects cheat, you shouldn't have an issue and your sim should be able to walk everywhere in the house fine and use everything. I used a bit of Dream Home Decorator artwork as well in here, and some base game items in the doorway, just that hanging coat rack. And then in the living space, it's pretty compact. I mean, the whole house is pretty compact. I had a bit of trouble figuring out how to decorate that kind of narrow nook that's adjacent to the living area space. And in the end, you'll see me a bit later go in and decorate it as like a reading space, I thought. It also has the Dream Home Decorator. Is it from the Dream Home Decorator, the big, or did it come with Get Famous? Basically, it's sort of a big pin board that you that your sim can interact with and add things to. I thought it was Dream Home Decorator, but now that I think of it, maybe it actually came with a different pack. And then the living area is just to save on space. I use the Dream Home Decorator like wall shelving, bookcases and things that snap to the wall, so that you still had a bookcase. So there's a few activities included in this build, including the bookcase and the pinboard thing that I'm not entirely sure which pack it comes from. There's an easel upstairs for art. That might be it, and some obviously cooking stuff. There's the kitchen, but then there's also a barbecue in the back, on the back porch. I think that might be it for skills and activities, possibly. Oh, and a computer. Sorry, upstairs there's a computer as well. I did think about adding musical instruments, but I don't think I did in the end. I just thought that the sim I was picturing in my head wasn't necessarily musical, but they were definitely artistic, so I had to include the easel with that. And this is me now, I think, trying to figure out this nook space. I add some lighting, so I think these are all tiny living ceiling lights at the different heights. So you have the short and the medium and the tall, and the Dream Home Decorator kind of storage block things. I don't know what you would call that, but the items that I place underneath the stairs, I didn't actually realize. I don't use them a lot. I keep forgetting about them because they're categorized in a really weird space in the menu. I didn't realize they came in these swatches with the different patterns down the side of them. And when I found that, I thought it was perfect for the kind of color scheme that I've got going on in this house, which is sort of soft purples, soft pinks, with some pops of red. That was kind of inspired by the front door, really. So downstairs there's a sort of a darkish red sofa, and then upstairs there's some shades of reds and orange and yellows in the bedroom, and also in the landing space, which I've kind of decorated as an office. And so, yeah, the items under the stairs, anyway, getting back to what I was saying, those swatches I thought worked really perfectly with the rest of the build. And I used the tool mod a couple of times. You'll see me just, I think, raising and lowering some objects and pulling some items closer or further away from walls. This is I think I go on to decorate the office space next. And there's kind of an odd patch at halfway up the stairs, and I didn't know what to do with it. I did try and sort of fence it in or close it off with a wall, but every time I tried to do that, it ruined the roofing. It kind of screwed everything up. So I was losing patience and I gave up, and I just put a couple of those sort of lavender concrete planters up there, which honestly I'm not sure I'm 100% happy with them in the end, because I do really like those planters, but what happens is they are not great in different lighting. They tend to go really dark unless there's loads of lighting around or if they're outside. So I don't know, maybe you want to replace that, I'm not sure. And then just placed some wall art as well, which I think came from Eco Lifestyle or Eco Living, Eco Lifestyle, yeah. And the office space is pretty much complete, just a plant in the corner. I also used the Dream Home Decorator mood board above the office, a nice comfy office chair, and just a little bit of decoration and clutter on the desk space, as well as the easel, which I mentioned earlier. And then in the bedroom upstairs, it was a pretty tight space. The shell is certainly a challenge in terms of how to utilize the space, and I wanted the sim to have a double bed. So what I did was I really liked the swatches that these single beds came in from, again, I think Dream Home Decorator, maybe? Fairly certain. So I merged two singles, made it sort of appear as if it's a double bed. In my mind, there's only a single sim living here anyway, but obviously there's space for two. And then Dream Home Decorator bedside tables, and I merged this wall object behind the bed so that it kind of looks like a what do you call it, like a headboard, and just use the tool mod to sink it in back into the wall a little bit more. And I liked the swatch that it came with because I've tried to use kind of quite rich wood tones, darker browns, which I don't often do, And then the other sort of colours of the bedroom are burnt oranges and yellows and peaches and corals. Yeah, so it's quite colourful, but I think all the colours work together quite well. It's not over the top, in my opinion anyway. And then the upstairs is basically done, and I move back downstairs, and that is when I do finally tackle this weird reading nook, which it ends up being. Yeah, if you want to change this into something different, obviously be my guest. I just wasn't sure what to do, but I am really glad that I got the space to use this pinboard thing in here, because I actually have never used it in my own gameplay. If you are not that familiar with my work, I am generally a builder. I've sort of historically been more of a builder in The Sims, and haven't really discovered that much of the gameplay for, over years. And I tend to start and then get a little bored and then give up and then just go and build something. So recently, since I've been streaming on Twitch, I've been getting more and more into the gameplay. I find it a lot more engaging and a lot more fun to be playing it with my community. So I do want to explore a lot of the things that I haven't yet in packs that I've had for years, and I just haven't sort of played the game through. Like I've never tried the Star Wars story. Only just a couple of months ago did I do the Strange of All Mystery. Yeah, there's loads of things I haven't tried. There's loads of aspirations I haven't played through. So it's been really interesting exploring that on Twitch in our streams. And, as I said, we would love to have you join us. So, yeah, come along, drop me a follow, and play some Sims with me. I decorate the back porch pretty simply. It's a small space, so there's not really a lot of room for too much clutter, just a little seating area, a barbecue, and that sort of light heat lamp thing object. And then really simple landscaping. I kind of pick out, 5 or 6 different plants and stick to those, surrounding the house in some hydrangeas and just some greenery and ferns and these low-lying sort of daisy things. Basically, all the plants in this build are probably like my favorites and ones that I use maybe too often. I don't know, you be the judge. But I love them and I can't help myself. I find it very difficult to use anything other than my favorite plants. And I tried something a little bit different here in the front as well. I kind of created a border with some floor tiles and then painted in the center of it with some terrain paint. And then use these items from the debug menu, these little circles, just sizing them down to various sizes to create a little path pattern, both from the front door out to the pavement and then also from the front path around the house to the back porch. And a little bit more landscaping as well, some trees at the back just to merge it into its surroundings a bit more, because often they can feel like, houses sometimes feel a little bit out of place in The Sims depending on what's around them. So the screenshots should be here shortly, and if you want to download this build, my gallery ID, as I said, is KiwiSimsKate, and you can find all my other builds there under that username. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. If there's anything in particular you want to see from me, please comment. Again, comments and thumbs up and subscriptions all really support the channel. Twitter, Instagram, both KiwiSimsKate. You can follow me there. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care out there. Bye.